Morning came slowly to the forest. A thick gray fog clung to the trees, drifting between the trunks like ghostly smoke. The survivors moved carefully along the narrow trail, their boots crunching softly over fallen branches and damp leaves. No one spoke. The silence of the forest felt unnatural, too quiet. Anna walked at the front of the group, her spear resting across her shoulder. Behind her were Victor, Elias, and Mara. The others followed closely, their eyes constantly scanning the trees. Ahead of them, rising above the fog, was the hill. And on top of that hill stood the facility. From a distance it looked like a fortress. Tall metal fences surrounded several large concrete buildings. Watchtowers rose at the corners of the compound, their broken floodlights pointing toward the forest like dead eyes. Victor slowed his pace. "Military?" he asked quietly. Anna studied the place through a pair of old binoculars she had taken from the factory days earlier. "Not exactly," she said. "What do you mean?" Mara asked. Anna lowered the binoculars. "It's too hidden, too isolated. Facilities like this aren't built for soldiers." Elias frowned. "So what was it built for?" Anna didn't answer immediately. The wind shifted slightly, carrying a faint metallic smell down from the hill. Finally she said quietly, "Research." Victor looked at the compound again. "And you're thinking?" Anna nodded slowly. "If anyone studied the outbreak, it would have been somewhere like this." The group continued walking. As they climbed the hill, the fog began to thin. The massive fence around the facility became clearer with every step. Rust covered much of the metal, and several sections had partially collapsed over time. But one thing stood out immediately. The main gate was still closed. Victor stopped. "That's strange." "Why?" Mara asked. Victor pointed. "If this place was abandoned, someone would have forced the gate open." Anna stepped closer to the fence. The gate was heavy steel. A military-grade lock still hung from the chain, untouched. Elias felt a chill run down his spine. So no one ever left. Anna looked up toward the silent buildings. Or no one ever got in. The wind blew across the hill, rattling the fence. And somewhere inside the facility, something moved. The group circled the perimeter fence slowly. Rust had eaten through many parts of the metal over the years, but the structure itself was still strong. Whoever built this place had intended for it to last. Victor found the first weak point. A section of the fence had partially collapsed under the weight of a fallen tree. The trunk had cracked the metal supports, bending them just enough to create a narrow opening. Victor pushed the tree aside carefully. Metal scraped softly against bark. "That's our way in," he said. Anna nodded. Quietly, one by one, the survivors slipped through the broken section of the fence and entered the compound. Inside, the air felt different. Still, heavy. Abandoned vehicles sat scattered around the yard, military trucks, armored transport vehicles, even a small helicopter pad near the center of the complex. But the helicopter itself was gone. Elias approached one of the trucks. The door hung open. Dust coated the seats inside. "Looks like they left in a hurry," he said. Victor checked the engine compartment. "Or they didn't leave at all." Mara pointed toward the main building. The structure was massive. 3 stories of reinforced concrete with narrow windows designed more for protection than sunlight. Above the entrance was a faded sign. Most of the letters had fallen away, but a few remained. Facility 07. Anna stared at the building. 7, she whispered. Victor glanced at her. You recognize it? Anna shook her head slowly. No, but something about the place felt familiar. Too familiar. The group approached the front entrance cautiously. The main doors were sealed with thick security locks, but one of the side entrances hung slightly open. Victor raised his rifle. Everyone ready. Anna gripped her spear. Stay close. Victor pushed the door open. The metal hinges groaned loudly in the silent courtyard. Inside, darkness waited. The interior of the facility smelled of dust, chemicals, and something else. Something rotten. Victor switched on a flashlight and swept the beam across the hallway. Rows of metal doors lined the walls. Many of them were labeled with faded warning signs and identification numbers. Lab A3, Storage Unit, Bio-containment. Elias swallowed nervously. Containment. Anna stepped deeper into the corridor. Broken glass covered the floor. Papers lay scattered everywhere, their ink faded and brittle with age. Victor picked one up. Research logs. He flipped through the pages. Most of the text had been damaged by moisture and time, but a few words were still readable. Subject behavior. Mutation stage. Aggression increase. Victor's expression darkened. They were studying the infected. Mara looked around the hallway. Or creating them. The group moved slowly through the building. Every room they passed told the same story. Laboratories. Observation rooms. Containment cells. Some of the doors were reinforced with thick steel bars. Others had been forced open from the inside. Anna stopped in front of one of the broken cells. The metal door hung halfway off its hinges. Deep claw marks scarred the walls inside. Victor whispered, "This wasn't a normal outbreak." Anna didn't reply. They continued deeper into the facility. Finally they reached a large control room. Rows of computer terminals filled the space. Most of the screens were shattered, but one of them flickered faintly with a dim green light. Victor approached carefully. "You see that?" Anna nodded. "Power. After all these years, something in the facility was still running." Victor pressed a key. The screen flickered. Then a message appeared. "System active. Level B containment status, locked." Elias felt his stomach drop. Level B. Victor looked at Anna. "There's a lower level." Anna stared at the screen. "Yes." And something inside her told her exactly where it was. At the end of the hallway stood a reinforced elevator door. Unlike everything else in the facility, this one looked almost untouched. Victor examined the control panel. A faint green light glowed beside one of the buttons. Anna read the label beside it. Level B, restricted access. Elias stepped back nervously. "You're not seriously thinking about going down there?" Anna didn't answer immediately. She remembered the claw marks in the containment cells. The broken doors. The research notes. If this facility had studied the infected, Level B might hold the truth behind the outbreak. Victor looked at the others. "We should at least see what's down there." Mara sighed. "Every time someone says that, something horrible happens." Victor smirked slightly. "Probably." Anna pressed the button. The elevator groaned to life. Old gears began turning somewhere deep within the walls. Slowly, the doors slid open. Inside, the elevator car waited. Dark, silent. Victor stepped inside first. The others followed. Anna pressed the level B button. The doors closed with a heavy metallic thud. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the elevator began descending. The sound of cables creaking echoed through the shaft. Down, deeper, far below the surface. Elias looked at the number display above the door. B1, B2, the lights flickered. Then the elevator suddenly stopped. The doors opened slowly. Cold air rushed into the cabin. Victor raised his flashlight. The beam revealed a long underground corridor. Concrete walls, heavy blast doors, and at the far end, a containment chamber. Inside the chamber, something moved. The underground corridor felt colder than the rest of the facility. Victor stepped out of the elevator first, raising his flashlight slowly. The beam cut through the darkness, revealing thick concrete walls and steel blast doors lining both sides of the hall. Everything here had been built to contain something dangerous. Anna followed behind him, gripping her spear tightly. The air smelled stale, like a room that had been sealed for years. At the end of the corridor stood a large glass containment chamber. Inside it, something moved. Victor whispered, "Did you see that?" Anna nodded. The glass chamber was surrounded by heavy metal supports, each one covered with warning signs. Most of the lights inside the room were broken, but a faint emergency lamp flickered weakly above the chamber. The movement came again, slow, unnatural. Elias stepped closer, his voice shaking slightly. "Is that an infected?" Victor narrowed his eyes. No. The figure inside the chamber stood upright. Not stumbling like the infected. Not crawling. Standing. Anna slowly approached the glass. The figure was humanoid, but something about it looked wrong. Its skin was pale gray, stretched tight over unnatural muscles. Dark veins spread across its arms like black roots under the skin. Its head hung forward, long strands of hair covering most of its face. Mara whispered, "What the hell did they make here?" Victor looked around the room. Broken computers surrounded the chamber. Old research equipment lay scattered across the floor. This had been a laboratory. A testing chamber. Anna studied the creature carefully. Then suddenly, its head snapped up. Two glowing pale eyes locked onto them through the glass. Elias jumped back. "It sees us." The creature slowly walked toward the glass. Each step heavy, deliberate. Victor raised his rifle. Everyone back. The creature stopped inches from the glass. It tilted its head slightly, studying them. Then it placed one hand against the chamber wall. Long, blackened claws scraped softly across the glass. Anna's heart began to race. "This isn't just infected," she whispered. "This is something else." Victor searched the control panels around the chamber. Most of the screens were broken, but one terminal still flickered weakly with power. He wiped dust from the monitor. Lines of old data appeared. Subject B17. Status: stable mutation. Aggression level: extreme. Victor's stomach tightened. This thing was an experiment. Anna looked back at the creature. It continued watching them silently. Waiting. Mara glanced at another screen nearby. "This one says, Phase 2. Elias frowned. "Phase 2 of what?" Anna read another line of text on the monitor. Her voice grew quiet. "Enhanced infection." Victor turned toward her. "What does that mean?" Anna pointed at the screen. The old research logs began scrolling automatically. Standard infected subjects deteriorate rapidly. Subject B series demonstrates increased strength, intelligence, and durability. Victor muttered under his breath. So they tried to upgrade the virus. Mara shook her head. That's insane. Anna continued reading. Her face slowly darkened. They weren't trying to stop the outbreak. Victor looked at her. They were trying to control it. Behind them, something creaked loudly. Everyone froze. The creature inside the chamber had begun pacing slowly back and forth. Studying them. Learning. Elias whispered nervously. I don't like this. Victor kept his rifle trained on the glass. Neither do I. Then suddenly, the lights flickered. A loud mechanical sound echoed somewhere deep in the underground level. Anna turned toward the corridor. What was that? Victor checked the terminal again. The screen flashed a warning message. Containment failure detected. Anna's eyes widened. Victor. But it was already too late. A loud metallic clang echoed through the chamber. The heavy locking bolts around the containment tank began retracting. The creature stopped pacing. Slowly. It smiled. The locking mechanisms snapped open one by one. Victor shouted, "Back away from the chamber." Anna grabbed Elias and pulled him toward the corridor. The glass chamber began to crack. Deep fractures spread across its surface like spiderwebs. Inside, the creature stood perfectly still, waiting. Then it slammed its fist into the glass. Boom! The entire chamber shattered. Glass exploded across the room as the creature stepped out of the broken containment tank. Victor fired immediately. 3 rifle shots echoed through the underground corridor. The bullets struck the creature's chest. But it barely reacted. It only tilted its head slightly. Then it charged. "Run!" Anna shouted. The group sprinted down the corridor toward the elevator. Behind them, the creature moved fast, far faster than any infected they had ever seen. Its footsteps slammed against the concrete floor with terrifying force. Victor turned briefly and fired again. This time the creature dodged. Elias nearly stumbled. That thing is learning. Anna hit the elevator button repeatedly. Come on. The doors began closing slowly. Victor jumped inside just as the creature reached the end of the corridor. For a moment the two stared at each other. Then the doors slammed shut. The elevator began rising. Everyone breathed heavily. Victor lowered his rifle slowly. What the hell did we just wake up? Anna stared at the floor numbers climbing upward. Her voice was quiet. That was the future of the infection. Elias looked terrified. And we just let it out. Above them, Facility 07 waited in silence. And somewhere in the underground darkness, the creature was already climbing the stairwell. The elevator doors opened with a metallic groan. Anna stepped out first, spear raised. The hallway above looked exactly as they had left it, silent, dusty, abandoned. But the silence didn't feel the same anymore. Victor stepped beside her and checked the corridor with his rifle. "Clear," he said. Elias leaned against the wall, trying to slow his breathing. That thing, it wasn't like the others. Anna nodded. It was thinking. Mara shut the elevator door behind them. "We need to leave this place." Victor agreed immediately. "Yeah, right now." But before they could move toward the exit, a loud echo rang through the building. Clang! Metal slammed somewhere in the lower levels. The creature was moving. And it was moving fast. Anna looked toward the stairwell door across the hall. "If it's climbing the stairs." Victor finished her sentence. It'll reach this level soon. Elias swallowed hard. So we run. Anna nodded. We run. The group moved quickly through the hallway, passing the laboratories again. The flickering lights above them buzzed weakly as if the building itself was struggling to stay alive. Victor glanced back toward the elevator. For a moment everything was quiet again. Then suddenly, thud, a massive impact shook the building from below. Dust fell from the ceiling. Elias jumped. That thing just hit the elevator shaft. Anna increased her pace. Move. The survivors pushed through the corridor and entered the main control room again. Victor grabbed the research papers he had seen earlier. Wait. Anna stopped. What are you doing? If this place created the virus, we take proof. Mara grabbed a small hard drive from one of the old computers. This, too. Another impact shook the building. Closer this time. Victor didn't need another warning. All right, he said. Now we really run. They rushed toward the main entrance of the facility. The metal door was still open where they had entered. Fresh air blew through the hallway. Freedom was only a few steps away. Then behind them, the stairwell door exploded open. The creature stepped into the hallway. Its body moved with terrifying speed and precision. Its glowing eyes locked onto the survivors instantly. Victor turned and fired. The rifle shots echoed through the building. One bullet struck the creature's shoulder. Another hit its chest. But instead of slowing down, it only became faster. Anna grabbed Elias and shoved him through the exit door. Outside, now, the group burst into the open courtyard of the facility. Cold wind hit their faces. Victor was the last one out. He slammed the door behind him and pushed a heavy metal cabinet against it. Inside the building something slammed into the door immediately. Boom! The entire frame bent. Victor stepped back slowly. That won't hold long. Anna scanned the yard. We need distance. Mara pointed toward the fence where they had entered earlier. The broken tree. They ran across the yard, boots pounding against the cracked asphalt. Behind them, boom! The door burst open. The creature stepped outside, and then it began running. Not the slow, stumbling run of the infected. A full sprint. Victor cursed. Great. It's fast too. Anna pushed herself harder. The fence was only 20 meters away now. Elias slipped through the broken metal first. Mara followed. Anna climbed through quickly. Victor turned once more and fired another shot to slow the creature. The bullet struck its leg. For the first time the creature staggered slightly. Victor didn't wait. He dove through the fence opening. The group sprinted downhill toward the forest. Behind them the creature reached the fence. It watched them disappear into the trees. Then slowly, it began following. The survivors didn't stop running until the forest swallowed them completely. Branches whipped against their arms as they pushed deeper between the trees. Finally Anna raised her hand. Stop. Everyone collapsed against the trunks, breathing heavily. Victor looked back toward the hill. The facility was barely visible through the fog now. Do you think it's still following? Anna listened carefully. The forest was quiet. Too quiet. Maybe. Elias looked terrified. That thing, it wasn't infected. Anna shook her head slowly. No. Victor pulled out the research pages he had taken from the lab. He opened them carefully. One paragraph was still readable. Project B Series. Objective: create controlled infection capable of strategic behavior. Victor sighed. So the virus didn't just happen. Anna finished the thought. They engineered it. Mara looked back toward the hill. And that thing we released, Elias whispered, was the final version. Anna folded the papers slowly. The outbreak destroyed the world before they could finish the project. Victor nodded. But the experiment survived. A distant sound echoed through the forest. Branches snapping. Heavy footsteps. Everyone froze. Anna gripped her spear again. Victor raised his rifle. The creature had found their trail. And it was still hunting. Anna looked at the group. Then we keep moving. Victor nodded. Where? Anna stared into the dark forest ahead. Somewhere far away from Facility 07. Behind them, the hunter stepped quietly between the trees. Watching, learning, waiting for the perfect moment to strike.